Hi! In this section, we will be animating a full-body walk cycle. Since we already know about the most important principles of animation and have already tried them in practice, I think we are ready for this task. Animating a walk cycle is quite a challenge. Not only that it's difficult to understand it, since a lot of things are happening at once, and especially if you were to look at the live reference, you would see a huge amount of detail. But also, if you make a mistake, it will get repeated over and over because it is a cycle, and that way every mistake gets revealed. But don't worry, all the beginner animators go through this, and I will break down the whole process step by step so it won't be that scary and difficult. I also want to emphasize that the more walk cycles you make, the more you'll be able to do it quickly and cleanly, and that is a very valuable skill, because as an animator, especially in the game industry, you may have to do a lot of different walk cycles in the future. All people walk differently. You can actually recognize a person just by the way someone walks, but you will learn how to animate a personalized walk much later. First, we need to learn just the basic mechanics of a neutral walk, called vanilla walk. First, we'll start by setting up the 5 main poses, which are the contact pose, the lowest pose, the passing pose, and highest pose, and then back to the contact pose. We'll be using the pose-to-pose animation at the beginning when creating the main key poses, then we'll go straight ahead and set up the breakdown poses just like we did in the previous assignment. Before we start posing our character, I will go over the main poses and explain them in more detail and why they are important. We start the animation with the contact pose, because it is the first frame where the front foot first touches the ground, so that works as a good base for our animation. The contact pose is also the pose where the leading foot goes furthest forward and the arm on the opposite side goes furthest forward as well. The hips rotate toward the leading leg, and the chest rotates to the opposite side toward the front arm, so the hips and the shoulders are also at their extreme positions. The weight of the body is neutral positioned in the middle. Because it's a cycle, we have the same contact pose on the first frame and on the last one. Then in the middle of our animation, we have another contact pose just for the opposite side. Once we have these 3 contact poses, we can move on to the lowest pose. The lowest pose is an extreme pose, where the weight of the body goes down as the leading foot slams down. It is the last frame where the back foot is still touching the ground. If we compare the foot position on this frame with the one in the first frame, we can see that it went further to the back and is still touching the ground because we need to build the energy before pushing off. The front foot also hasn't moved back enough yet so that it could hold the body weight by itself. Then we have the passing pose, where the back foot has pushed off and is now coming to the front. The other foot has moved a little to the back and is now directly under the center of the body so it can hold the weight by itself. And because it is now standing alone, the weight moves from the center of the body to the side onto the supporting foot. After the passing pose, we have another extreme pose. Only this time, it is our highest pose, where this foot is coming forward and up, and the weight of the body is at its highest position. Finally, we reach the contact pose with the opposite foot than we had on the first frame. Okay? So these are the main poses. If we go further through our timeline, we have the same poses repeating on the other side as well. Lowest pose, passing pose, highest pose, back to the contact pose. And even though we will be creating a vanilla walk cycle, these 4 poses are what you need in any walk cycle to keep your workflow organized. And from there, you can start adding details and overlap to give it more character.